Russian Doll Season 2 Ending Explained. Yep, the show has returned. After a 3-year hiatus, Nadia returned to our screens, and instead of constantly dying, we got to journey through time. So what did the ending mean? Well, let's find out. Here is Russian Doll Season 2 Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Throughout this season, we got a glimpse of Nadia's family past throughout the 40s and the 80s, and it was all done with the intention of going back and essentially changing her own future. As they mentioned throughout, in the movies that we often see, going back in time, altering something, or engaging with people has a ripple effect, and it causes problems and a change in the timeline. People want to change their past and affect their timeline. The term "what if" was a poignant factor in this season. What if Nadia went back and retrieved the gold? And what if Alan had acted on the Berlin Wall escape? Well, nothing. They did many things in their family's past, and it impacted nothing in the present day. No matter what they actually did in the past, the events would always take place and would be unavoidable. Looking back on what ifs is a blissful yet haunting thought in the present day, because one will never know. But here it is shown that regardless, the decision in your core will always drive you forward, and will be the one that was always going to be made, whether you tried to change it or not. As we embarked on the ending, we saw Nadia give birth to herself and bring her into the present day, 2022, with the hopes of being able to give her a far better life than what her mother Nora gave her growing up. However, it was in that moment where we quite literally saw the universe start to crumble. Almost copy and paste everything due to the fact that the two timelines were essentially crossing, leading her and Alan back at the 36th birthday party that we saw in Season 1, where they constantly die and come back. From here it was made clear that Nadia would have to return her younger self back to its correct reality and timeline in order for this to be fixed. We saw her get on the train, and I thought this was quite a powerful scene. We saw two variations of Vera, Ruth, a younger Nadia, and for the first time Nora addressing her daughter and it not being them together. We saw Nora ask Nadia the question, if you could go back and choose your mother all over again, would you choose me? And Nadia responded with, I didn't choose you the first time, but I guess that's just how the story goes, highlighting again that you can't change a thing. What is painted out and mapped out for you in your life is there, and there's nothing you can do to change it, no matter how hard you try to resist. I think as well there was some form of understanding towards Nora now, seeing as though Nadia had gone back and witnessed everything that she'd been through. She often blamed her mother throughout the season, but it was only by going back in time that she saw a different side to her, and how she ended up the way that she did and the way people perceived her. The scene where they were in the shop was a perfect representation of that. I thought Ruth's passing was extremely symbolic in the show's finale. Ruth had been the one thing that was constant in Nadia's life and was almost like a mother and grandmother to her when she had nobody else. She was even like it to Nora in the past, extremely caring. Going back in time and witnessing just how caring she was for Nora when many others weren't, I think cemented the character's kind nature and understanding of why she always looked out for Nadia moving forward. She was far more valuable than any gold or treasure from that time period that she was seeking. The friendship and love was the real treasure. We found out the news that Ruth had died when Nadia was on the train. The mechanism that once symbolized prospects, a chance, and a better life. However, in that instance, it represented death and a place where Nadia had been spending all of her time, and getting lost looking for something that she never could have, nor would make a difference in her present day. This led Ruth to die alone. It was extremely powerful. Throughout the show, Nadia tried to deny that Ruth was dying or was even ill, and it was only at the end when she allowed the impact and weight of what had just happened to visibly show and settle in, that we saw her break down and be present for the first time in the season. Following Nadia leaving the gold behind, which put an end to her personal journey and resulted in her being back in the present day, we saw her back in the infamous bathroom that the show is known for, and we finished with her staring and smiling down the camera at the wake of Ruth. And I feel here, in this moment, she was accepting of the journey that she'd been on, her family had been on, the understanding that she can't change anything no matter how hard she physically tries, and that everything was just going to be okay, and what it's meant to be. It was the perfect way for the show to finish. Alan's journey in the show was an interesting one too. Somebody who once didn't want to exist anymore was going back in time, not because he was held up in the past, but because he was enjoying living his life through his grandmother's eyes when she was younger. He fancied Lenny, somebody who lived in East Berlin and was purely going there for pleasure. However, it was only at the end, after we saw him question if he should have stopped Lenny from going under the wall, when we saw him talking to his grandmother, that she mentioned how you can't spend your life fearful of making the wrong move. Otherwise, you'll never live at all. Alan from there realized that he needed to enjoy each day for what it is, and to start enjoying his own life. He went up the stairs from an unfinished job, which in my mind symbolized Alan's mind prior to the discussion with his grandmother, and that was then when we saw Alan's journey through time provide closure. Both endings for the characters provided fitting journeys that rounded the season off nicely and really built upon season 1. What did you think of this season? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.